Corbett, thank you so much for speaking to me today. I am really excited because it's been a year since I started Where Is Life, which for me is huge. And I can't believe that the time has gone so quickly and everything that's happened over the past year.
And you're still alive. You're
I'm
still
still
fighting.
alive. It's
Congratulations.
okay. I'm very alive, more alive than I've ever been, in fact.
Good.
Um, and coming across you and Think Traffic played such a big part in my success, really, and my continuing success. And uh, because really, I came to you and I came to Think Traffic at a point where I was a bit stuck, and I'd set up my blog and I was going, but I'd reached a point where I didn't know how to move forward anymore. And you really helped me with that and allowed me to push past all of those things. And what really struck me about you when I started your course, Start a Blog That Matters, was it wasn't just about starting a blog, it was about doing something important and doing something that matters. And I wondered if you could just talk to us a little bit about what it really means to you to do something that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the introduction. To me, there are hundreds of millions of blogs out there. This is the scary thing when you think about, starting something online. There's just so much out there. And you have to be realistic about the fact that in order to find your place in the world online, and in order to build a business and change your life and do meaningful things, you're going to have to cut through all of that noise and actually create something that touches people and that has a way of affecting people and helping them slay a dragon or solve a problem or really just address some sort of deep burning need or desire that these people have. And I think that, for a long time, people thought that blogging was just a place to go and share your thoughts with the world, like an online diary. And it can be that, and that's fine if that's what you want it to be. But if you want a blog to become the center of your online universe and perhaps to become the foundation of a business or a movement or something that you want to build, it has to be more than just an online diary. You really have to reach out and think about the people that you're going to be helping and what's going on in their lives and how you are the right person to help them make some sort of transformation.
And tell me a little bit about, because I know you've been going for quite a while now and you're super successful, which makes me a little bit nervous to be speaking to you today. But tell me a little bit about your journey into blogging and how it's changed your life.
Yeah, I've been at it now 4.5 years. I've been blogging, and I've been self-employed for about 7 years or so. And my self-employment journey actually has two parts. The first part was more of the traditional route where I worked with a co-founder and we built software for a year before talking to any customers really, and then shopped it around to investors and eventually raised investment. And that startup ended up actually not going anywhere despite raising millions of dollars from investors and spending a lot of time on it. And it also ended up making me a little bit less happy than I am now that I'm blogging, and less happy than I was, frankly, when I was doing the corporate world, the regular. I read on your blog about all the soul-sucking jobs that you had for a while, and I came from that as well. So after that startup collapsed, I really took a moment. Instead of just jumping into the next opportunity, I decided to take a step back and hit the reset button on my life and really consider what I wanted out of my life and career, and not just sort of letting my life bend itself around my career, because for the first however many years of my working life, I just thought that you kind of had to serve your career and eventually then maybe retire early and do what you wanted to do. So my wife and I took a sabbatical. We went to Mexico for 6 months and we traveled around.
Wow.
And while we were on that trip, something really interesting happened. Instead of me just thinking up a new software idea, a new startup idea, and then coming back here to Silicon Valley and doing what everyone seems to do here, we started meeting people on the trip who weren't rich or retired, but somehow had figured out ways to live in a foreign country every year and to make their career work around their lives instead of the other way around, to better integrate their career and their life. And this really struck me because, up until that point, I thought that either you climb the corporate ladder as fast as you could and hope to just enjoy the couple of weeks of vacation you got every year, and maybe retire a little bit early, like in your 50s. Or you were an entrepreneur and you swung for the fences and didn't have a life for years while you were trying to build a really big, successful company. And these people kind of showed me that there was this third way of living that was about enjoying your life now and about doing something meaningful, something that you actually enjoy, not just for money's sake. And because I was so struck by this, I decided to start a blog on a whim, and I had never blogged before. I vaguely knew what it was. I read a few sites. I wasn't sure what defined blogging exactly. So I started a site basically to chronicle our trip, to share the stories of these people that we were meeting, and also to start asking myself out loud in public, what is the nature of work and career, and why do so many of us think that we have to be controlled by our career, and why can't we enjoy it more? And when I started that blog and started having those thoughts in public, I quickly discovered that I really enjoyed writing in public, and that there were a whole lot of other people out there sort of asking similar questions. And I just started connecting with this community. This was in 2009, around the time that you remember the whole financial world collapsed and everybody was freaking out. So there was just a lot of interest, I think, in asking these types of questions. And for me, it just started an entire journey. I started reevaluating my life, and now my wife and I actually spend a lot of time traveling. We live in Mexico every winter. We were just in Italy for 5 weeks. We have figured out a way to live our lives where we can take our careers with us, and it's totally possible, even though it might sound cliche. And all of this transformation that's happened, and also really just enjoying what I do and feeling like I'm actually helping people, all of that happened because I started blogging. And that's why I'm such a big fan of it. And that's why I try to encourage people to start a blog. Whether or not it becomes a business, it just helps you connect with people, and really helps you get your thoughts out there and to start positioning yourself as a leader in whatever space it is that you want to operate within.
It's such a brilliant journey, and I love that you came from a place where you just started. You didn't know what you were doing either, and yet you've created something so incredible. And for me, like you, it's whether you start a business or not, one of the most amazing things is the way that you can connect with people all over the world over something that you're really passionate about. And for me, that's been the most amazing thing about it, like meeting all of these amazing people. Just totally incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when we go places around the world, we have friends,
Yeah.
like that I've met online or
Yeah.
whatever, and then you connect up, and it's just it's been a really interesting change, and I never saw it coming. It just kind of happened, you know.
And they are friends. They're not just people on the internet. They do feel like friends. It's totally mind blowing to me. Last question. For anyone out there listening to this who's thinking about potentially starting their own blog, what bits of top advice would you give to people in order for them to be successful and not fall into the traps that a lot of blogs that sort of fall by the wayside within a year or two? What are your top bits of advice?
So, first of all, I recommend that people think about trying to narrow down to some specific problem that they want to tackle, some specific sort of transformation that you want to help your readers go through. And this is something that either you're an expert at already, or maybe you just have a really strong interest in, and you figure that you can become good at it over time. And while you're becoming good at it, you can act as a facilitator to find the best resources out there, interview people, point to different resources, and just sort of tell people about your journey along that transformation, and then be a leading learner and reach back and help other people come along with you. But the point of getting more specific about what you're doing is that if you just start a blog and you don't have a specific goal in mind for yourself and your readers, it's really easy to get lost and sort of forget what you're writing for, and then to not be able to connect with people, because if you don't understand what you're writing for, they're not going to understand what you're writing for either. So be a little bit clear about what you're trying to do. The next thing is to make sure that whatever it is that you're approaching, you try to figure out ways to do it differently from what's already being done out there. So, for example, if you're talking about golf, there are going to be thousands and thousands of golf blogs out there. So, why is your approach to it unique and special and interesting versus everything else that's out there? Because that's what people are asking themselves when they come to your site. They're wondering right away, why should I spend any time on this site when I already know that there are other really great ones out there? So make sure that you have some sort of clear way of differentiating yourself. And then the third thing, and the most important, and I think this is what we talked about just briefly before, is that it's very important to connect with other people in the space that you're jumping into, because the only way that you're going to attract readers to your site is to figure out where they're hanging out already, and then get in front of them there, and then encourage them to come check out your own stuff. And one of the best ways to do that is by getting to know other people who are bloggers, podcasters, YouTubers, just people who are creating and putting things out there in the world that are on similar topics. Become friends with them, and then cross-pollinate your audiences, interview each other and do things like that. And you don't necessarily have to focus on the A-listers right away, because what happens is as you grow, if you connect with other people that you recognize, seem to have that spark, like that they're going places, if you connect with them, some of those people are going to be really big names over the course of 2 or 3 or 4 years or whatever it is. And you'll be floored at how fast that time goes. Like you mentioned, you can't believe it's been a year. I can't believe I've been blogging for 4.5 years. And, I'm so glad that I started when I did. I think a lot of people wait, and time goes by, and then you think, man, if I had started 5 years ago, imagine how far I would be. Yeah. So just realize, like, today is the best day to start, because a year, 2 years from now, you're going to be thinking that same thing, and you'll be so glad that you started when you did.
Yeah, that's such great advice, and all of those things your course really helped me with a lot. And in particular, what you say about getting clear on what you're doing and what you're writing about, because I was struggling with that for so long. And then I came to your course and I did the first few lessons. I was like, oh my goodness, Leah, you need to sort this out, and just so helpful. So I think that's about it. Thank you so much for your time and for all of your help with the course and over email and everything else that you do. I'm really looking forward to the next year of blogging, to see where that can take me, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, I look forward to your next year as well. Keep me posted, and anybody that wants to reach out, they'll find me through your site. And thanks so much for having me on there.
No problem. I'm going to post all the details right after this video. So brilliant.
Perfect.
Thank you.